Welcome back and thanks for staying with us. So before, while we're on break, we're arguing let's not generalize the culture. People are learning it, but the truth is, even if we don't generalize, history remembers that there were places where they were killing twins. History remembers there were places where some things people used to genital mutilation. Is known for history we know it that Southwest were doing genital mutilation. Has the highest. So we cannot we must be able to say the truth and not feel like we'll be called out for saying the truth as statistically been recorded. That there's a particular area of Nigeria where it's accepted that when you are pregnant you can drink to relieve the pain or stress you are feeling, and when you have a baby, just put finger into alcohol and drop a few drops into the mouth of the child to calm the child down. The calming of child down is that you are affecting the baby's nervous and regular response medically. And I feel we should educate we should educate people to change this culture, because it is not serving us. We're now having a generation of alcoholics as adults that can be avoided. So let's talk about the police reaction to this. The police is searching for, what should they do? Should they arrest the child, arrest the mother? What's the punishment going to be like? Will they now imprison? Like, what are we going to do?
The proper department should be the Ministry of Women Affairs. Find that mother, arrest her, let her understand the implication. Number one is that maybe she doesn't know the implication of what she's doing to her baby. She also doesn't know the implication of what she's doing on her page.
Because if you know, why would you post it?
Yeah.
If you know,
you are just starting a terrible trend, a very bad example, and you think that will get, because it's possible that she's doing what Amaka said, just to garner following. This of course will evoke a lot of reactions, and so maybe a lot of engagement on her page will happen. But then somebody must school her. There must be consequence for it. And if it's possible, we have social welfare in some states. I hope if it's Lagos, they can take her baby. She should know that. They can in Lagos take her baby. I cannot verify for other states, but for Lagos, they can take her baby. If she's not a fit parent, she might lose her baby. So she should know better than to do this. And the consequence must be meted out to discourage others. Tope, I was just thinking as we're talking about, some of my friends who grew up to become alcoholics, they were exposed to it from returning bottle. I didn't grow up in Ikoyo. Those bottle drinks that they came in bottles. Or go give Mama Dagbaja. That's when you see them licking off the drops.
Emptying the bottle.
Emptying the bottle on behalf of the guests and their parents. And Dr. Oshodi, Yewande Oshodi was here. She's a neuropsychologist, I think. She was on our show back then before we had the fire. And one of the things she said to me, for an adult to grow beyond 20 years before they taste alcohol, then they grow the ability to control themselves. But if they do taste it under that age, there will be a problem for life. Neurologically. I compared it to my addiction to Gary. My kids, I thought, they would never take Gary. But every afternoon I come back, I'm doing Gary and my groundnut mix. And my kids always wonder, today we are dealing with it. This one is begging to take Gary to school. The school is saying no. My son, every day, as if it's a tradition, be looking for Gary up and down. So imagine if it was alcohol. I had a bar in my house.
Yes.
Problem.
And we also need to look at the fact that what the law says in terms of what's the legal age for drinking, first of all, alcohol in Nigeria. That's 18 years, right?
In Nigeria, it's 18.
In Nigeria, it's 18. And so that should tell you something. There's a reason why legal age to drink, because they expect you to be responsible and everything. Then this one has taken away that right from the child to decide, or that choice to decide if they want to take alcohol or not. So you force that on that child, right? Yes, and so a crime. So that's a crime on its own. You committed a crime.
Exactly.
Do you understand? Yes, even though in most parts of Nigeria, it's still not enforced, where even like the clubs and everything, Nigeria is not a place where they ask you for your ID or whatever to go in or to buy alcohol, which so is not enforced, right? But you've taken away that choice, that power of choice from that child to decide if they want to ever take alcohol or not. And you've done, this is a criminal offense, and that's why the police has gotten involved. That woman should be arrested. And then I hope that woman, if that it's just content that she's creating, that she's able to prove that the content in that sachet,
whichever way,
does not matter.
It doesn't matter.
You must take it
the
at face value.
that whether you are putting juice inside the sachet, what you have communicated to the world.
Amaka don't give a defense.
No, even if it is juice, what you communicate to the world is that you put alcoholic drink into your child, and you are pushing it. as a narrative or something that people can do, because we all learn, we're all learning things. So you see something online and you might end up doing it. So yeah, I like the record of the police.
So the grace will, the grace that should be extended shouldn't be that she should not face any repercussions for it. Good. The grace would be in the levity, you know, how much of it that she do. But I would love to see her doing some form of community service.
Exactly.
I would love to see her being seated down and educated. Then I would like to see that her homework is that she goes to her community and educate other mothers about the dangers of feeding your child alcohol. It's very important it's conversation actually, because as we have heard, people in their community still believe it's something that is okay. So there's a lot of teaching that needs to go on.
And she also needs to come back on social media and then apologize and tell people that that narrative that she was pushing is not the right one, because some people have taken this and they've gone with it and they might not have the opportunity to now see the other side of it. So it's quite important that, you know, she bears the consequences and comes back, apologizes, and then does educational video to show that this narrative that was trying to push was actually the wrong one.
So Sir Michael is saying, I beg, calm down, Nymat. Where is your compassion? I don't have compassion for this mother right now. So I didn't follow my pregnancies. Yeah, my compassion is for the child. And that you're a mother does not mean you're a perfect parent. You're not. You're the biological mother does not mean you're the best parent. Some babies are better off with some of their relatives than with their mothers. And so I don't have any compassion for her.
What do people think about licenses for mothers to be? To prove that you're a competent mother.
For parents generally, because sometimes they put too much pressure on the mother alone. You know, they are comments, but it's a
no, because people have said you need, before you know, there are things you can drive, you need to do like a test. Before you can vote, you need to be like 18 and things like that. And then this is the most important thing you have to do as the work. Why have we not thought of life?
Yes, because of human life, I'm not thought of it. I said, as I'm looking old like this, when I got into a club this time, I was in London. I was asked for my ID, and I told the guy, as in, look at me. He said, your ID.
Not by look.
I have to show ID. It's not by look. How much more? A baby. Wicked.
Very, very. So I would like to, as we round off, we'll move on to another topic. I wanted to just say that we should appeal to the antenatal. People should go to, when you're pregnant, go for antenatal, attend the trainings, because it helps you. You don't know how to be a mother. Even if you have raised your younger ones, you really don't know new knowledge on how to
and you need all the knowledge. Before those mama will come with their knowledge. Somebody put toothpaste on navel. I saw this one. See, please, this
as antiseptic.
You're not supposed to put anything on the navel.
What is toothpaste supposed to do? What was her intention?
She said it was supposed to help the umbilical cord heal faster.
Oh my God.
Somebody else told her. Instead of cleaning with spirit that we all know, she puts toothpaste.
So she doesn't know.
So you don't know these things. Before those mama will come, please take a few 2-3 months course, and it's 9 months pregnancy. Take the course.
Do you know, as much as what you're saying is right, but you're still talking to people who even have small common sense. There are people just on the streets now, getting pregnant, having children, dumping them, treating it as if it's not a human being. There are so many of them right now, happening today as we're speaking. And that number scares me.
So the police said that their responsibility is to protect lives and, you know, children and prevent child abuse. This is a child abuse situation. Yes, so definitely we expect what the police will be doing. But there were other things that we mentioned during the break that I think we should actually talk about. Having, exposing our children to alcohol by having a bar in the house. You know, I don't know how it is now, because I don't live the kind of life where I send my children to go and buy me alcohol. But I know people that they'll be like, they send their child to go and buy them cigarettes, send their child to go and buy them a bottle of drink, or buy them, you know, hard drinks. And these are underage children. And those things are exposure that we should talk about. I'd like to have your take on all of the different exposures that children get to have, and we don't see it as a big deal. We see it as, you're a small child, I'm supposed to send you on errand, and you're supposed to just be a responsible. My
parents allowed us to be rude to our neighbors when it comes to alcohol. I wasn't allowed to buy it for somebody. I wasn't allowed to buy cigarettes for somebody, and I will endorse my child. They will speak rudely at any adult that forces them to go buy it.
No, you don't have to be rude. You just say, no, my parents don't allow you. No,
knowing me,
you cannot encourage a child to be rude. There's no excuse.
Amaka, I said I would endorse it. No. I do not allow my kids to be rude, but on this one, you know me, and you call my child. If I say something, they worry you. My child is permitted. My child is permitted to be rude to you because you've crossed the line. In my family, we didn't take alcohol. Yeah, we didn't take alcohol. My wedding, there was no serving of alcohol. You had to go and sit outside. And then you look at a child that I'm raising, and you decide that that child should go and buy alcohol, you definitely want to ruin my life or ruin my plan for my kids. So the child is allowed to speak up rudely as if possible at you and throw your money at you.
Well, it's just different style. And to tell you, in this case,
if I'm right, you shouldn't. You shouldn't send my child on such an errand.
When it comes to sending my child to get some substances, yes, I would like for my child to be able to speak up and even err on the side of rudeness. I'm willing for that to happen.
I will defend it.
Yes, because but you know, sending a child to buy those things is not less. It's not more sinister than the ones who have bars at home. So because you are not sending your child to, but you have a whole bar in your house with all sorts of drinks, and then you have your teenage children and then you are feeling that I don't ask them to buy anything, but uncle, you are buying it and you are keeping it and displaying it in your home because you're just in the same position.
I had to make that conversation in my house with my husband, like, see, we need to get rid of every form of alcohol in the house because if the teenagers are growing, they are waking up in the middle of the night to go and eat cake from the freezer. They are waking up to eat.
Turn on the internet. And the internet.
So it feels like, and a lot of movies that we see already shows relaxation is with a bottle. Relaxation. Many movies all the movies you see now. Once you finish your work, the close of work is with a bottle.
We'll take a drink.
And that is, my son had to ask me, watching a series, like, why, how come every day they drink? I said, but you see me drinking every evening. So it's obviously a film. And so it is, he said, but every day, once they finish work, they just go to the bar and drink or come to the house and they're drinking. So we are also using this.
They don't even eat a meal. In full movies, the entire scene, they always have their conversations over a bottle. But
there's no food, there's no water, there's no juice.
Yesterday, the head of the Nigerian Film and Video Censors Board, I watched his interview yesterday, and in watching it, I saw his emphasis on how he's incapacitated with social media. You know, we just talked about this. You know, if it was a social media, if it was a movie, he would have form of power to, to censor it. And now social media, the person just did a 2-minute movie. Damaging enough. And we're saying, I don't have apologies for a child who is rude to say, no, this is wrong. If you need to school an adult, school them. School them as emphatically as you can.
But the reality, at the end of the day is that we have to protect children, right? 100%. But then when they turn 18, at the end of the day, everybody has a choice. The way you tasted, the way everybody tasted the alcohol.
They say train up a man in the way he wants him to go. When they grow up, they don't depart from it. So
all of us, for this table, all of us taste.
Yes.
And all of us taste.
I didn't want to say, but
where did we taste it?
I
tasted and I decided that it wasn't for me.
And you were probably an adult.
That's what I'm saying. When I turned 18, that's what I said.
Okay, let me also use my personal story. I didn't want to, but I will, just because it's a learning thing. So growing up, I would say, my mom is there to confirm, you can ask, but growing up as a child, I would say that I was one of those children that they would use as a good example. See how she behaves, why can't she be like that? So I was a good child, good example, responsible. But did I take alcohol as an underage child? Yes, I did. I did because we used to travel for Christmas. And at the time when we used to travel for Christmas, there was a lot of alcohol around, and there was a place where they used to keep alcohol, the choicest wines, they put them there. And as teenagers, where the adults were not watching, we'll go into that room, you take one. And some even came in some mini bottles, they came with different tastes and different, we would take care of ourselves. And I remember telling my auntie that, did you know we did that? She was in shock. She was in shock. One, the good one. Two, I thought that I was there properly as an adult to watch over you, to make sure people were not doing, and yet, even in that very ideal scenario, you were able to do that. So yes, we'll find our children be so curious that they will make some bad decisions. So we also pray for that. And then, but the ideal thing is to keep teaching them. I knew it was wrong because I've been told alcohol was wrong in my home. I knew it was underage drinking was. I abused it then in that room. We abused it, we drank it well, and then we went to sleep.
I had my drinks,
but it wasn't good.
That's why these days, whenever I'm with my friends, I don't leave my drink and come back to it. Because of my over-olioli, they spiked it for me. I took my drink, And the thing went to my brain immediately. I was like,
because it's not something you're used to.
It's tonic. And I left that party immediately because I knew I
Welcome to the show, Lubumi. Oh, we lost that call.
No, from the kind of person that I don't know my taste buds. That I don't drink not because I don't want to, but just because it's just something. The taste, the smell, everything. I just don't like it. So a couple of times, my family members maybe were out, family gathering. I'll leave and then they'll put a drink, they'll put something. They just want to know moment your own. Wow. Maybe I just take it like I want to even taste it. I already know there's something in my drink. I don't know.
No,
it puts me off.
My husband was shocked when we got married. We went to see an uncle and they brought a bottle. I just looked at the bottle. I said it has some percentage of alcohol. I won't take it. And he said, how did you know? They sent a fruit wine. I said, me? I know alcohol now because of that one experience. Because it was my close friends who spiked my drink. So I was in a safe place, supposedly, when I came in and I took a sip from my drink. And the thing burnt me all the way down, went to my head.
But statistics is showing new information. They say Gen Zers are taking less alcohol than previous generations. And they are moving, and they are also moving away from. They are moving much more towards a healthier wellness lifestyle than we ever did. So that's something that.
But they're taking a lot of drugs.
There's a lot of drugs too.
Less alcohol, but more drugs, more pills. They are popping pills.
Things are happening.
Yes, they're popping pills. They're not drinking, but they're doing other things to stay high.
Worse things. God will help us.
At the end of the day, it's conversation, right? And then education. You will get back to that education last.
It's important.
Because we've discussed alcohol in children, teenagers, adults. I think that we should let's go back and do alcohol with pregnancies. And
please, before we do that, I need to respond to truth is truth. I'll see the comment dropping. I can only quickly read them. They're talking about me saying I permit my child to be rude to an adult, that offer them on alcohol. Everybody parent your child. My effort so far, I'm actually every effort to parent my children, I have to go and pray for God to make it work. I have the fear as a parent that children, no matter how perfect your parents are, they don't really always, not all the cases do they turn out the way
some rebel.
You play, so you pray that my mother always says, after correcting your child, pray. You pray that your child, that God endorses your effort. I cannot be putting in this much effort. You see the life I'm living, holding myself as the role model to my kids, and you, as a close relative, family member or friend, decide to do otherwise around me. If you do it, my child should insult you. I've said it today, go and put it anyway. My child, throw the money at that adult. If that is what it would take.
And can I ask you a question?
That is acceptable for Nymat.
Perfect for me.
I
don't correct
will not accept it in my household. I would teach my children to speak up, but I will tell them they can speak up without being
alcohol,
rude. And you know the thing is, it is okay for me to parent my children the way I find it suitable.
Can I give you a scenario?
For Nymat to do
I had mothers around my mom. My mom was training us to be chaste kids. Sorry, you want to go? I had.
Let her take the call.
Yes, let me take the call. Welcome to the show. Hello, are you there? We lost the last caller, so I don't want to lose this one.
Please, take the call.
Hello. Ouch. Mary Jane, welcome to the show. Good morning. Oh, we lost the caller. I'm so sorry. But
so, Tope, we were 4 girls. My mother was doing all her best by her standard to raise her girls. But we had a few of our neighbors who would call us and say, that guy is asking you out. I've taken number for him. Go to his house now. Nothing is there. And those people I just knew, they would never take responsibility for how you go. Whatever comes out of it. They would, also have collected money. Growing up, those were my experiences. I wish, that my mother had allowed some form of rudeness, because when you come back and you're accusing, the person won't allow you put in a word. Their voice is usually louder. My kids, if they're watching this video, are permitted to tell a person, my mother will not allow me. If you emphasize and say, I'm an adult, go for me first. All those nonsense that happen when we're growing up. Please, you are permitted to be rude to that adult. Throw their money at them, come and tell me and I will defend you. That's the truth, because you cannot be working for your own to be good and be working against my own and be around me. You are the devil himself.
Can I give you a real-life scenario that happened? So, you go to a club, and the thing with Nigerian clubs is that very old men still go to clubs with very young children, and this, I think 18, 19-year-old was in the club, and she got up wearing a short outfit, and this older man smacks her on the bum. And the question was, how should she have responded? because he's a much older person and she's much younger. She should have said, I'm so
wrong.
Sir, you should not have done that. I'm so sorry. Or should she have done what she did, which is she took a glass of water and turned it on his head because he refused to respect himself. So people were actually discussing that she should not have been rude. Even in that scenario, she should not have been rude to that.
She's 18. She's an adult. She's termed an adult. She's 18. She's not a child.
They are both adults. Did they marry?
They are both adults.
But in Nigeria, she's not a child.
I get you. It's a very thin line. In that scenario, I will end up. I feel like my being polite also made me a bit more vulnerable.
Yes.
But so there's vulnerability with that. Be polite. So we need to find that balance in being firm, even as we are being polite. Because I've mentioned it that I've had a near rape situation with a neighbor, and he was with a neighbor, and it was the niceness. I just like that. This thing will happen. I just took his key and I stabbed him it was really bleeding. I started shouting.
I will leave you what he did and be discussing your key. So we'll leave what he did and be discussing that you stabbed him in your defense.
Exactly. So
I'm not on that
if you are in that space.
So when because I want us to understand it, when a parent says to the point, there are some things where where I feel that there is a point where a child can be rude. A child will be forgiven for being rude. And I was just going to say that because even if you look at this conversation, we have put all our emphasis on the fact that she has talked about the rudeness and not the reason why she has mentioned.
Yes. Let's not move away from the reason. Mary, welcome to the show. Good morning. I'll come to Yamaka.
Sorry.
This one, I took it too.
Yes. Now, so let's not forget the fact that we're bringing other scenarios on the fact that the issue is on sending a child message and how a child should respond. Let's not take away from that is the bone of contention here.
No. That was not the bone of contention. That was not the bone of contention.
Don't send my child on
alcohol.
That's what I'm saying, on alcohol.
Don't expose my child to something I consider evil.
That's what I'm saying, sending the child on
child to the market.
The bone of contention here is not sending, is the alcohol she's talking about.
That's what I'm saying, the alcohol. That's what I'm saying, the alcohol.
So in my head, I'm thinking that
for the fact that, let me land. So for the fact that a child is not rude doesn't mean that it shouldn't be firm. You can be firm. You can put. You can. I'm coming. Everybody has spoken. Let me speak. You can be firm. You can be firm in saying no. That doesn't make you weak. That doesn't make you docile.
And it doesn't mean you are rude.
That doesn't mean that you're rude. There are certain kids that naturally they are quiet, they are calm, and everything. Their expression. I'm not. I was a quiet and calm child, but then I was a very firm child. I'm still a very firm person. I'm not a trouble person or whatever, but I'm a very firm person. By the time you look at my face and when I open my mouth, I'm not rude. When I open my mouth and I speak, you know not to move or step on my toes. So what I'm trying to say is that I believe that you can be firm. You don't have to be rude.
For you.
A lot of us growing up,
them, they have that so that we don't change the conversation.
Let's not dwell on this.
We have discussed it already.
Let's not move away
we have accepted that for some persons parenting is allowed. For other persons parenting is not allowed. Choose the one that works for you, but ensure that you give your children the bandwidth on what is acceptable and what is acceptable. So your child must know. I cannot do this kind of errand. I cannot do this type. I can do this type.
Don't go that.
It's not allowed.
You are just a shameless adult.
So my mom has said I cannot do this kind of thing. Oh, help me to even. I'm thinking about that. I don't have my children are not in a place where they can even be sent those kind of errands. However,
but you don't know when a relative is visiting. You don't know.
It can happen in a party. You cannot be in a party together and you have adult section, children section, and your child is being sent to go and collect a drink from the specific one from the adult bar or something, and the child is on his way and he takes a sip. You want to protect your children from this kind of thing. So specify, these are errands. Mommy, I'm not allowed to. Auntie, I'm not allowed to do this type of errand. And if it gets to the level of being, if your parents equip you to be rude in the situation. If my own children, I won't equip them to be rude, but I'll equip them to be able to speak up.
It's important to speak up, but most of us grew up unable to speak about the evil. You're speaking about the evil, they're addressing nobody's addressing the adults. The adult has to be addressed in the room. You call it out. But we were made to become respectful. My mother used to beat me to conform to that respect. And I saw the dangers, I saw the damage. It was a choice for me to turn out right. I could have followed those parents. The woman that asked me, follow the guy now, what's in there, he go just touch you small. She knew my parents' standards. She knew my parents' standards.
Can never forget.
It was a choice. And whenever I try to say, hey, you didn't have to, I said, I'm angry. How do I say it? You're shutting me up. My child will not be shut up.
Out of time. Yes,
my child will go rude.
That one we know that.
So avoid my child. Go to your friend's
this
child.
is a quite controversial issue because we have actually discussed this before, and I remember saying it that I would allow, there's some instances that I would like my child to err even onto the point of being rude. And it came with a lot of backlash. Even Nymat did not support me on that case. But it just shows you that, there comes a point, there's something per parent that for them, that's the last and final line. Like in China, I learned when they were talking about safety, they said, this is a red line for us. You must not. They don't even understand it. So every parent has a red line and would hope that they want their child to be able to stand up and speak up for themselves and protect themselves. So the rudeness is not really about you, the adult. It's them protecting themselves. And then we'll deal with the...
And it's important, relatives who live in. So you're living in your house, your own uncle is visiting. He's gotten exposure, he's putting your child at risk. It's not just neighbors, it's relatives, those uncles.
Honestly, we're out of time. I remember my mom fighting with a neighbor that, how can you know that my only daughter has a boyfriend and you did not tell me? Because it was expected that everybody is watching out for each other. And then she found out that the mom of the boyfriend is someone in our association of suppliers. And she went to that one and said, you are wicked. Like, you are 100% a wicked person. And I think we need to get back to that place of parenting. If I see something with anybody here's child, I will tell the parents because it is.
I would appreciate it, please.
Because it is important. We should do it for each other.
Yes. Don't just tell me. Correct the child all the way.
Tell me.
I will not beat the child.
I will not beat your child.
Because people get to do things that your other parents do not know is being done. So if the parents don't know, tell the parents. This is what your child is doing. So that they will not say they don't know. Somebody told me my children used the F word. That was like a year or two ago. I was shocked.
Like, no.
I said, do you know my son? I'm like, you don't know my son.
And my upbringing.
Because I don't allow it in my house. I don't use it. Only for him to say, is it not like, is it S? Like I saw, he pointed at the boy. I said, you used.
It happened. On Saturday, I hosted 11-year-old children. My daughter turned 11 while I was away, so she just had a few of her friends. It's not like anything bad happened, but I saw these children act like themselves without their parents there. Like all I saw were little ladies, like ladies like us, having conversation like us, but it's just that they were 11. They are just like us. There's one, and for everyone, I could tell who their mother was because of their behavior. If you have a mother that your daughter is doing the same thing. If you have a sharp mouth, if you are sharp-mouthed, know that when you are not there, your daughter is doing exactly what you're doing. It was just interesting to see that they are full adults, full
like our time is completely done, but remember why we started this conversation. Educating ourselves. It is the key to growth, it's the key to development. What you don't know will still hurt you. Giving children alcohol is very, very bad. Drinking alcohol as a pregnant person, very bad. Drinking when you are breastfeeding, equally bad. Everything you eat goes through the breast milk into your child. So in case you don't know, now you know. Pass on the knowledge. That's what we can take on the show. See you tomorrow. Bye.